Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, in whichever time you're watching this. Welcome to SSC and welcome to the 13th day of Static GK Quiz Show, in which we shall discuss MCQs from superlatives, resignations and appointments, sports, and Indian geography. So these are the four topics, 25 questions from this, and superlatives is the continuation from the previous sessions, whereas three are the new topics. And from sports, we have 10 MCQs today, all other topics 5 MCQs. So let us proceed. We have total of 25 questions to discuss, and I request everyone to please participate in the quiz, as at the end of each question you will be given a 10 seconds timer, during which you can write the correct answer in the live chat box if you're watching the premiere, or in the comment box if you're not watching it, if you're watching it recorded. Okay, so this is it. Let us proceed. Please write the answers because it increases your chances of retention of answers. Okay, you remember it more. So let us proceed. The PDF of entire series, that to printable and both digital read, you get it for only 300. For that you need to send a message to 7797058659. In this you also get admission in an exclusive WhatsApp group where you get reminders and updates about this sessions. So let us proceed. Superlatives, continuation from day 8. So the first question: what is the name of first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth? The options are there, and your time begins now. First artificial satellite to orbit the Earth: Sputnik 1, Explorer 1, Vanguard 1, or Discoverer 1? The correct answer is Sputnik 1. Okay, it was the first artificial satellite. It was launched into an elliptical low Earth orbit by the Soviet Union. Okay, on 4th of October 1957. Please remember the year as well. Okay, so basically it was a Russian satellite. Okay, nowadays Russia. So I hope it is clear. Let's go to the next question. Which country has the largest armed forces? Pretty simple questions. The options are there, and your time begins now. Which country has the largest armed forces? India, China, Russia, or US? The correct answer to this question is China. In 2022, China had the largest armed forces in the world by active duty military personnel, with about 2 million active soldiers. Okay, it's based on population. So China is the largest armed force holder. So this is it. Let's go to the next question. Who was the first space tourist? The options are there, and your time begins now. Space tourist: Dennis Lee, Dennis Tito, Neil Armstrong, or Yuri Gagarin? The correct answer is Dennis Tito, option B. Okay, Dennis Tito, or the Dennis Anthony Tito, was an American engineer and entrepreneur, and in mid 2001 he became the first space tourist to fund his own trip into space. Okay, so Dennis Tito. I hope it is clear. Neil Armstrong was the first man to step foot on the moon, and Yuri Gagarin was the first man to go to space. Whereas Dennis Tito was the first space tourist, so going to space on his own cost, on his own expenses. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Let's go to the next question. Who was the first deputy chairman of Planning Commission? Okay, we are talking about India. The options are there, and your time begins now. The first deputy chairman of Planning Commission. Chairman is of course the Prime Minister, so the first would be Jawaharlal Nehru. But who was the deputy chairman? The first deputy chairman of Planning Commission of India was Gulzarilal Nanda. Okay, Gulzarilal Nanda, remember this. So I hope it is clear. Next, which is the tallest statue in the world? This would be easy. You can answer it. The options are there. The tallest statue in the world: Statue of Unity, Spring Temple Buddha, Laykyun Sikya, or Statue of Liberty? The correct answer to this question is Statue of Unity in India, which is the statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Okay, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue, 182-meter long. So it's the tallest statue in India. And in second, there is Spring Temple Buddha in China. Its height is 128-meter. And the third tallest statue is Laykyun Sikya in Myanmar. Its height is 115.8-meter, whereas Statue of Unity's height is 182 meters. Okay, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue in India, inaugurated in 2018. Next, now we talk about resignations and appointment. Next section. The first question from this section: to whom does the judge of Supreme Court submit his resignation? His or her resignation. The options are there, and your time begins now. Prime Minister, Supreme Court of India, Parliament, or President? Whom does the Supreme Court judge submit his resignation if he wishes to resign, or he have to resign? The correct answer to this question is, by the way, this question was asked in Fisheries Guard in 2022. Okay, this year only in a species Fisheries Guard, this question had come. The answer is President. Okay, Supreme Court of India, judges of Supreme Court submit his or her resignation to the President. I hope it is clear. More details on the screen. Next question. Now, we just talked that the judge of Supreme Court resigns to President. Now the question is, President resigns to whom? The options are there and your time begins now. President resigns to whom? Vice President, Prime Minister, Supreme Court of India, or Parliament? President resigns to Vice President. Okay, and on his absence he resigns to Chief Justice of India. So I hope it is clear. Presidents resign to Vice President. Okay, remember it. Next, the electoral college responsible for the president's election comprises the elected members of which of the following? Okay, I repeat the question. The electoral college responsible for president's election, as you know that president is not appointed directly, so this electoral college comprises of which of these options? The options are there and your time begins now. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, members of legislative assemblies of states, basically MLAs, or member of legislative assemblies of union territories of Delhi and Puducherry, or all of the above. Obviously the correct answer is all of the above. So the electoral college responsible for president's election comprise of member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, member of legislative assemblies of states, that is legislative council have no role in this, and legislative assemblies of union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. So I hope it is clear. So this is how the president is appointed. Next question. Who of the following do not submit resignation to president? The options are there and your time begins now. Do not submit resignation to president. Is it Judge of Supreme Court, Governor, Judge of High Court, or Speaker of Lok Sabha? Whom of these do not submit resignation to president? The correct answer is Speaker of Lok Sabha. So Judge of Supreme Court, Governor, and Judge of High Court, all of these submit resignation to president. But Speaker of Lok Sabha, he or she submits resignation to Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha. And Deputy Speaker, if he or she wishes to resign, then he or she has to submit resignation to Speaker of Lok Sabha. So it's vice versa game. Okay, if Speaker has to resign, he submits to Deputy Speaker. If Deputy Speaker has to resign, he submits to Speaker. So I hope it is clear. Speaker or Deputy Speaker do not submit resignation to President. Now the next question is, who appoints Governor of a state in India? This should be easy one. The options are there and your time begins now. Who appoints Governor? Vice President, Prime Minister, Chief Minister, or President? The answer is President. Okay, President appoints Governor for the term of 5 years, and only Indian citizens above 35 years of age are eligible for the appointment to the office. Okay, as a Governor. So this will complete resignations and appointment. Now we have sports. 10 questions are there. Okay, first question: who among the following served as the India's first Test captain? The options are there, and your time begins now. India's first Test captain: Nawab of Pataudi Senior, Nawab Mansoor Ali Khan, C.K. Naidu, or Lala Amarnath? The answer is C.K. Naidu. Okay, let's see this. India became a full member of the Imperial Cricket Conference, now known as International Cricket Council, on 31st May 1926. Okay, on 31st May 1926, India became member of ICC, and on 25th June 1932, 6 years later, it became the sixth Test nation after England, Australia, South Africa, West Indies, and New Zealand. And the Indian team was first led by C.K. Naidu against England at the Lords. So C.K. Naidu was the first Test captain of India. Next, the term technical foul and flagrant foul are most commonly associated with which of the following sports? The options are there and your time begins now. Technical foul and flagrant foul associated with what? Table tennis, badminton, basketball, or football? Technical foul or flagrant foul, it is associated with basketball. Okay, more details on the screen. Next, After whose name is the Sudirman Cup formed? Okay, Sudirman Cup named. The options are there and your time begins now. Sudirman Cup. Rob Sudirman, Tom Sudirman, Dick Sudirman, or Pete Sudirman. The correct answer is the Sudirman Cup is the world's mixed team badminton championship. Okay, the answer, I think I wrote it. The answer should be Dick Sudirman. Okay, I'll correct it in the PDF. The Sudirman Cup is, as I said, it is a badminton championship which takes place in every 2 years. It is named after Dick Sudirman. Okay, C should be the correct answer, and it is a badminton championship. Okay, I'll correct it in the PDF. Don't worry. So please remember this. Okay, Dick Sudirman was the former badminton player from India. So just remember that Sudirman Cup is associated with badminton, and it is named after Dick Sudirman, who is from Indonesia. I hope it is clear. Next, where are the headquarters of International World Games Association? The options are there, and your time begins now. International World Games Association headquarters. It's in Switzerland, and that too in Lausanne. Okay, so Lausanne, Switzerland. We discussed in yesterday's session as well. Lausanne. Okay, International Olympic Committee's headquarters is at Lausanne. FINA's headquarters is at Lausanne. FIH's headquarters is at Lausanne. Okay, International Hockey Federation. And now International World Games Association's headquarters is also at Lausanne, Switzerland. Okay, so too many sports related headquarters are at Lausanne, Switzerland. Next. In which year International Olympic Committee was formed? The options are there and your time begins now. International Olympic Committee. We just saw that, discussed that IOC's headquarters is at Lausanne. But when was it formed? Is this question asking? It was formed in 1894. Okay, International Olympic Committee was formed in 1894, and in the later slide you will know that 2 years later only the first Summer Olympics happened. Okay, so 1894 was the formation year of International Olympic Committee, and it's a non-government sports organization based in Lausanne, Switzerland. Next, what is the motto of the Asian Games? Simple question. Motto of Asian Games. The options are there and your time begins now. And let me tell you that after Olympics, Asian Games is the largest multi-game tournament, okay, in the world. Olympic is the largest multi-game tournament, and after that it is Asian Games. Okay, it's the extra fact. The motto of Asian Games is ever onward. Okay, ever onward. Yeah, ever onward is the motto of the Asian Game. It was proposed and designed by Gurudutt Sondhi upon the creation of Asian Game Federation in 1949. So in the year 1949, Asian Game Federation was created, and ever onward was the motto it was given to Asian Games. Next, in which year the first Commonwealth Youth Games were held? The options are there, and your time begins now. Please focus. Commonwealth Youth Games, okay, not Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games itself were held in 1930 for the first time in Canada. The correct answer to this question is 2000. Okay, in the year 2000, Commonwealth Youth Games were held. The options, the answer is here, and also the description. Please have a look. Okay, you'll get it in the PDF. In which year the first Summer Olympic Games was conducted? I think we discussed this, right? Let me not do the timer. It's 1896. Okay, I just discussed that in 1894 International Olympic Committee was formed, and 2 years later in 1896 the first Summer Olympics, and it is also known as the Games of the Olympiad. Okay, so it happened, and the country in which the first Summer Olympics was held was Greece. Okay, in Athens in the year 1896. Okay, 1894 IOC formed, 1896 Summer Olympics happened in Athens, Greece. I hope it is clear. In which country the first Commonwealth Games was held? I think this also you should answer this. In fact, I just gave the answer a few questions back. If you are listening to me carefully, I gave the answer. First Commonwealth Games were held in Canada. Okay, I was talking that in 1930 the first Commonwealth Games were held, and it was in Canada. At that time it was known as British Empire Games, and only after 1950 it came to be known as Commonwealth Games. Okay, so the 1930 British Empire Games were at in the Canada, okay, Hamilton, Canada. I hope it is clear. Next and the last question of this section: which was the first cricket World Cup to be held outside England? Okay, outside England. The options are there and your time begins now. 1983 Cricket World Cup, 87 Cricket World Cup, 91 or 1995 Cricket World Cup. First Cricket World Cup outside England. It's 1987 World Cup, okay, and outside England means where was it held? It was held in India and Pakistan, okay. So the 1987 World Cup was the first World Cup to be held outside England, okay, and it was at India and Pakistan. I hope it is clear. Let's go to the next section. We complete the sports. Now we have Indian geography. See, Indian geography is a very vast subject to cover, but still I have tried to include it in our series, okay. So let's see till how far we go, okay. I'll try to cover maximum of Indian geography through this series, okay, but please don't expect that I'll cover everything, okay, because we are running short of time. So we'll try to do maximum of questions, okay, important questions. The first question: which of the following mountain passes from the tri-junction of India, China and Myanmar? Okay, which of the passes form tri-junction of India, China and Myanmar? Nathula, Zelepla, Bomdila or Dipula? Diphu Pass, sorry, it's not Dipula, it's Diphu Pass. The correct answer is Diphu Pass. Okay, this also I'll correct in PDF. It's Diphu Pass, and Diphu Pass forms the tri-junction of India, China, and Myanmar. It is located in Arunachal Pradesh on McMahon Line. I think McMahon Line, you know it. It's the border between India and China. Okay, McMahon Line. So this is it. Diphu Pass is the correct answer. Tri-junction of India, China, and Myanmar. Next, which of the following passes connects Arunachal Pradesh with Lhasa? The options are there, and your time begins now. Arunachal Pradesh with Lhasa. Bomdila, Diphu Pass, Pangsan Pass or Dihang Pass? The correct answer is Bomdila. Okay, Bomdila connects Arunachal Pradesh with Lhasa and it is located at an elevation of 4,600 meter. Okay, almost half the height of Mount Everest. So Bomdila. Next, Dhupgarh, which is the highest peak of Madhya Pradesh, it is located at which of the following ranges? The options are there and your time begins now. Dhupgarh, which is the highest peak of Madhya Pradesh, is located at which of the following ranges? The correct answer to this question is Satpura Range. Okay, so Dhupgarh, it is located in Satpura range at Mahadev Hills. Okay, so Dhupgarh is the highest point of Mahadev Hills in Satpura Range in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, I hope it is clear. Next, which of the following are the subgroups of Laccadive Island? The options are there and your time begins now. Subgroup of Laccadive Island: Aminidivi Island, Laccadive Island, Minicoy Island, or all of the above. Subgroup of Laccadive Islands. The answer is obviously all of the above. Okay, it's Laccadive Island. I think you all know it. It's located in southwest of India. Three subgroups of Laccadive Islands are there, and which are Aminidivi Islands, Laccadive Islands, and Minicoy Islands. And there are two Indian beaches. It was in current affairs of October 4th week 2022. So two Indian beaches and both in Laccadive, which are the Minicoy Thundi beach. Okay, it must be in Minicoy Island, as per my guess. Okay, and Minicoy Thundi beach, and there's another beach which is Kadmat beach. These both beaches have been accorded the coveted international eco label blue flag, taking India's tally to 12 in the list of world's cleanest and most eco-friendly beaches, marinas, and sustainable boating tourism operators. So basically, these two beaches have got blue flag certification. Okay, eco label blue flag certification. So this is a current affair related news and a static also. I've connected it, so I hope it is easy to remember for you all now. So the last question of this session is: which among the following about the Karnataka plateau are correct? Let me tell the statements. First of all, statement 1: it is a part of state of Karnataka and Kerala. Statement 2: it is also known as Mysore Plateau. Statement 3: the average elevation of this plateau is 600 to 900 meter. And statement 4, Mulangiri is the highest peak of this region. Now you need to tell that which of the following statements are correct. Okay, it can be more than one statement. The options are there and your time begins now. Is the statement 1 and 2 correct, or 1, 2 and 4 correct, or 2, 3 and 4 correct, or all are correct? The answer is obviously all are correct. Okay, first of all, Karnataka plateau is not only in Karnataka but it also extends to Kerala, so both in Karnataka and Kerala. Second thing is it is also known as Mysore plateau. The third thing is the average elevation of this Karnataka plateau is 600 to 900 meter, and the fourth is Mulangiri is the highest peak of this plateau. So I hope it is clear. With this we complete today's quiz. So I just hope that you remember all these things. Please write your scores, that how much did we score out of 25. Let us revise all these questions quickly. At first, we discussed superlatives, and the first question from superlatives was the name of first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. It was Sputnik, Russian satellite in 1957. Largest armed forces, it is China. First space tourist was Dennis Tito. He was American engineer and entrepreneur. First deputy chairman of planning commission was Gulzarilal, Nanda, and tallest Statue of Unity with 182 meter in India. Resignations and appointment, we saw that judges of Supreme Court submits his or her resignation to the president. President resigns to vice president. The electoral college responsible for president's election comprises of members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, legislative assemblies of states, legislative assemblies of Union Territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Okay, all of these above comprises for the electoral college responsible for president's election. I hope it is clear. Next, which of the following do not submit resignation to president? Speaker of Lok Sabha do not submit resignation to president. He or she submit resignation to deputy speaker. Okay, and vice versa was also true. Next, we saw that president appoints governor of India. Talking about sports, we saw that the India's first test captain was C.K. Naidu. Technical fall and flagrant fall are most commonly associated with basketball. After whose name Sudirman Cup is named, it was after Dick Sudirman. We saw that headquarters of International World Game Association is at Lausanne, Switzerland. International Olympic Committee was formed in 1894. Asian Games motto was ever onward. The first Commonwealth Youth Games were held in 2000. First Summer Olympic Games were held in 1896, and the first Commonwealth Games were held at Canada in the year 1930. They were known as British Umpire Games at that time, and only 1950 and onwards it came to be known as Commonwealth Games. So I hope it is clear. And the first Cricket World Cup to be held outside India was the 1987 World Cup, which was held at India and Pakistan. Talking about Indian geography, we saw that the tri-junction of India, China, and Myanmar is the Diphu Pass. We saw that Arunachal Pradesh is connected to Lhasa by Bomdila. We saw that Dhupgarh is at Satpura Range, which is the highest peak of Madhya Pradesh. We saw that Laccadive Island subgroup are all of these Aminidivi Island, Laccadive Island, and Minicoy Island. And at last, about Karnataka plateau, all of this statement was true. That is, it was a part of Karnataka and Kerala, also known as Mysore plateau. The average elevation of plateau is 600 to 900 meter, and Mulangiri is the highest peak of this region. So with this you complete the session. You get the PDF of entire series at rupees 300. For that you need to send a message to 7797058659. So I hope the session was fruitful. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to SSC Sikkim. Bye bye.